Joseph, the father of our Lord, was told in a dream. Just like Joseph, the patriarch in the Old Testament, one of the 12 sons of Jacob, was often a dreamer, having dreams and interpreting events. They're called, that is the Holy Family, called to Egypt. Just like Jacob and the rest of his sons ended up in Egypt. They went out of Egypt. Just like the Hebrew people went out of Egypt. And we have, as the prophet says through Jeremiah, a voice was heard in Ramah, sobbing and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children, and she would not be consoled since they were no more. That's coming from the events of the Assyrian conquest in 722 BC, where the people were gathered in the city of Ramah. That's where all the people of the northern kingdom, they were round up, they were placed in that city, and then from that city, then they were exiled to foreign lands. Ramah, I would say, maybe by way of analogy, the way that the Jews thought of Ramah is kind of the same way today we think of Auschwitz, that same type of mentality. When we hear that phrase, we enter into desolation, a place of horror, place of sadness. That's what Ramah was like, to the Hebrew people. But all this summed up, maybe it can be put in this way. In the same way that the nativity of our Lord on Christmas was a very messy, very complicated situation. No room for them in the inn, lying in a manger, resting with the animals, traveling from Nazareth to Bethlehem, with our Blessed Mother as a 9-month-old pregnant woman. And now even after the birth, there's moments of glory, moments of happiness, moments of joy, but then really our lives, then also comes the sufferings and the trials. Now Herod is after the infant Jesus. Now they have to flee, and all this can be summed up in one way. That the life of discipleship is not a life of comfort. Our whole lives, are they not often revolved around seeking comfort? And often we avoid suffering and we seek comfort and we try to shortcut our way into the comfort. Herod is troubled by this arrival of this newborn king that the Magi told him. And so he takes the shortcut. Instead of, deciphering and discerning what this is all about, asking if this is the way of God, he takes the shortcut. His life is now troubled by this, by a newborn child. His life is troubled. And so he takes the shortcut, the massacre of 2 years and older, 2 years or younger, that is. The easy way out of alleviating suffering. Joseph embraced the trials. Joseph, in a dream, was told to rise, take the child, and go to Egypt. He immediately does that. He wakes up, takes the child, and goes to Egypt. He even says by night, meaning that he did it right away. With a lot of open-ended questions, because he's told he's going to stay there until our Lord tells him to come back. So my first question is how much should I pack, right? He's not told that. It's going to be uncomfortable. But it's the way of the Lord. It's going to build his character. It's going to build his faith and trust in God. That's what trials do. It's not there just to make our lives miserable. There's a purpose, a good purpose behind it, to test us, to strengthen and develop our faith, to then have those moments when we recall back, this is the time where God brought me through this trial, because there's going to be more ahead of our lives. And the more that we go through these trials with our Lord, the more we can look back and say, okay, God has always been with me. Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, I don't want to live through it again. But I can see God's guiding hand in all this. But in life, I think we're always told, to take comfort. The Feast of the Holy Innocents is also one of those days, you just kind of promote that, the pro-life cause, Many women want to terminate their pregnancies. It's all usually out of comfort, right? It's I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I can, my career. I don't know, I don't know if I can do this by myself, and it's just avoiding, again, shortcuts to try to find comfort, but often with devastating effects, and I think that's everything in our lives. Everything that we do, every sin that we have is some way of us trying to grab some sort of comfort to avoid the cross, embrace comfort, but it usually comes with devastating effects down the road. Seek the glory of God rather than comfort. May God bless you.